Namaste friends, let's talk about late marriages. Now this is a very important topic because these are the topics where so-called astrologers will exploit people by instilling fear. Stuffs like Mangal dosha and all that, Balarisha dosha and all that are favorite topics of the so-called astrologers to instill fear and to eventually empty your pockets. So I wish to convey certain understanding so that you'll have at least some knowledge when it comes to these exploitative topics. Okay, so late marriages is quite simple. First thing is Saturn, position of Saturn takes highest precedence here because whichever house Saturn resides, okay, that house requires, or that aspect of house requires a lot of patience. Let's say if it resides in the fifth house. The fifth house is the house of the Putra Bhava, the house of progeny children, the house of formal education, love, romance, your artistic side, intelligence, analytical skills, and so on. All right. So if you have Saturn and Saturn normally, if it's not exalted, that is 95% of the time Saturn is going to give a hard time. So all these facets which I just mentioned would be in constant turmoil. So you need to have a lot of patience. So that's what Saturn does. Now, so it goes without saying that the house of marriage is the seventh house, what we call as Kalatra Bhava. Kalatra means legal binding, all right? Kalatra also means partnership as well. So not only for marriage, but also for business partnership or any form of legal bindings. So this Saturn is of highest importance when it comes to late marriage, all right? So if you have Saturn in the 1, 5, and 10, okay, if you have Saturn residing in the 1, 5, 10, we can be absolutely sure that there will be late marriages. Okay, that's one thing. Now the other thing is the seventh house, as I mentioned. If your first is yourself, seventh is Kalatra, or the marriage, the house of marriage. Now if you have Saturn residing here, that's another indication. Or if you have Saturn Mars, Rahu and Ketu in Drishti, or looking or gazing at or aspecting the first and the seventh house, or the first lord and the seventh lord, then there's another indication. Obviously, if you don't have any grahas in your Kendra or in your Trikona, if it's vacant, if you don't have any grahas there, then that's another indication. Kendra is basically the trines or the 1, 5, 9 house. I'm sorry, Kendra is the angular houses, the 1, 4, 7, 10 and houses. The Trikona is the trine houses, excuse me, which is the 1, 5, 9 houses. So if you don't have, because this Kendra and Trikona are the house which are graced by gods. These are the house, or these are the places that we astrologers will look to see that if this chart have a generally a good life or not. Okay, if this person will be generally happy or peaceful in life. There's a few things to look at, and one of the most important out of those few things is the houses of Kendra and Trikona, and what are the grahas which are residing there, and its drishtis. Okay, so if you don't have any grahas in the Kendra or the Trikona, then that's another clear indication of a late marriage. Now something else is what we call as Mangal dosha. Okay, there's a link appearing right now on your screen. If you click on that, I'll be talking more in and elaborate what Mangal dosha is all about. Stuffs like if you get married with a Manglik, Mangal dosha people are called Manglik. If you get married with a Manglik, then your spouse will be a death will fall for your spouse, and all these are rubbish. All these are exaggeration. All these are done by so-called astrologers to take away your money. So remember, there's no such thing as that. Of course, there are other implications. So take a look and try to understand what I'm trying to say there. Now, there's another late indication, which is Mars in the 8th house. Of course, that's also a part of Manglik, but in my experience, I notice if you have Mangal or Mars in the 8th, that's definitely a indication to say that there will be a late marriage. Now, it have to, all these things must not only be seen in the natal or the Rasi chart, but it must be also matched in the Navamsa or the D9 chart. Okay, the Navamsa is a very, very important chart. Not only we use it to analyze Kalatra or marriage prospects, but it's also used to see strength of a Graha. Okay, so if you have similar or at times exact match of these yogas which I've just mentioned in the the D9 chart, then there is, without a shadow of doubt, there will be late marriages. Of course, Rahu and Ketu, the Chaya Grahas, affliction in the 7th house and on the 1st house, okay, is another clear indication as well. All right, these are the few things. Of course, we can go even further details like late marriages due to whatever reason that is going to cause. Okay, I'll try to cover that in other videos, but for now this will give you a rough understanding on whether one will be, if you are not married now and if you consider late. See, that's the other question. How do you know when is late? All right, is 26 late or is it 35 late? No, we won't know. So it's up to your discretion to decide what is late first of all right? So, but if you feel that it's late for you, then look at your charts. Now, there are some important points here to understand, because let's say if you have a good Guru or Jupiter, okay, so the 3 grahas would actually improve this problem. Let's say if you have Mars in the 8th, but then you have a strong moon, Venus or Jupiter or Brihaspati, you have all these grahas strongly positioned in your chart, then there will be cancellations. Okay, so remember 3 other planets that you need to look to see that if it's going to improve the situation or it's going to cancel it altogether are Moon, Venus and Jupiter. Okay, so that's a little bit about late marriages. I hope it has brought some knowledge and understanding. Stay tuned for more videos in Vedic Astrology and do subscribe. So until the next time, thank you. Namaste.